Good morning. It's our Friday weekly question, and we're happy to be here again. My name is Jason Roski. I am the owner of the KC Auction Company, KC Auction Appraisal Company here in Kansas City, Missouri, and we're excited to continue this program that we started last week. Just a quick update: we uploaded our catalog this week. We have an auction catalog online, and it's doing quite well. A lot of interest, a lot of activity from around the country and the world. So if you have a minute, take a look at our Facebook post. You'll be able to see that listing for the catalog. But today we're going to talk about scrapping silver, flatware, things like that, gold jewelry, platinum. What is it? Is it a good idea, or should you look for other options and alternatives? When people say scrapping silver, scrapping gold, what they mean is redeem it for the melt value. Silver, gold, platinum, palladium, these are all fine metals. There's uses for them, and there's a set commodity price for them. Just this morning, gold was trading at $1,300 an ounce, and silver was at $17.30. I wrote it down. Yeah, $17.33 an ounce. Those are troy ounces. There's a difference between troy ounce and a standard ounce. If you weigh something on your postal scale, it will weigh heavy compared to the troy ounce system. The troy ounce was basically a European British system set up back in the day, and for some reason we are just a little bit different, and so that's how that works. Basically, if you weigh something on a standard scale, your postal scale, and it weighs an ounce, there's really 0.91 troy ounces in that object. So those are that's the basics of the weights. You also hear things like penny weight, diamond weight, gram. There's even grain measurement, which is an early form of measurement. Grain is basically a grain of sand, as I understand it. And so, it's going to be 200 grains of silver, and it sounds like it's a lot, but it's just a regular sized coin. So just familiar yourself with the technology and the different terms used. And it's really just a math problem. 1 ounce, I believe it's 20 penny weight in an ounce. There's 30 grams in an ounce. And these are all things you can convert with any kind of calculator. In fact, you just Google weight exchange, something along those lines. It'll bring up a calculator, and it'll ask, what weight are you entering? What weight would you like it to be read in? And it'll do it for you just a heartbeat. Put a 1 ounce, change it to troy ounces. It'll be 0.91, I believe, is the number, and then further on down the road than that. So what does that mean? So let's say I got a couple of props this week. I've got a nice little 14 karat gold bracelet right here that's in our, very indicative of what we see and sell regularly. Nice pattern, nice link. It looks like a lot. It's 14 karat gold. The other thing you have to familiarize yourself with is what do the different weights or the different content markers mean. 10 karat gold, 14 karat gold, 18 karat gold, 24 karat gold. What does that all mean? Well, gold is based, 24 karat is pure gold. 24 parts is gold. And that's a pure gold piece. So if you have an ounce of that gold, 24 karat, it's worth exactly that $1,700 or $1,600, or $1,300, I'm sorry. Whereas 18 karat gold is 75%. It's 18 parts per 24 gold, and there's submetals in there. Might be copper, silver, whatever their base metal was that they were using in that particular manufacturing plant is what gives it more solidity. The heavier, the smaller the number, whether it's 18, 14, or 10, the less gold there is, and the more strength that the object has. Gold is a very soft metal. It melts at a low temperature. And so the more subcontent you add, the stronger that piece is. For instance, you wouldn't want a 24 karat gold ring because you're just going to bang it on things and wear it out. 18 karat is about the highest content you'll see in a ring. So 14 karat gold is 14 parts per 24, which is about 58.5% pure gold. 10 karat is 10 out of 24, which breaks down to 40%. So if you have an ounce of 10 karat gold, it's worth 40% what an ounce of pure gold is. And so that has the intrinsic value of the metal. It's always worth, that bracelet I showed is almost exactly a quarter of an ounce, a quarter of a troy ounce of 14 karat gold. So it's worth I did the math just a minute ago. It's basically worth $190 just as a piece of gold. If you took it to, if you're looking to buy that as just a gold bar, it would be $190 plus service charges. If obviously you can't buy and sell gold at the price that it's worth and make any money. So if you take it to scrap, what does that mean? Where do you take it to? Same thing with silver. This little silver cream pitcher right here is part of a coffee service. That has 5.3 ounces of silver in it. Silver is trading at $17.30 an ounce. Sterling silver is 92.5% pure, so you multiply 1730 times 0.925, you get 16 and some change, and then you multiply it by 5.3. So that pitcher right there is worth in the $65, $70 range, just in silver. So what do you do with it then? You've got this silver piece that's worth $70. You got the gold piece that's worth $190. What do you do with it then? Well, when people talk about scrapping, you have to find somebody who buys it in that realm, who's buying silver and gold just for the value. Generally speaking, it's coin shops and pawn shops and jewelers. There are some companies around the country that buy directly from folks who have refineries. You generally need to have a commercial license and be in the industry. It's a way to protect themselves just from open themselves up to people knowing where they're at as far as being stolen, because gold and silver, once they're melted, there's no tracking it. So generally speaking, you have to take it to a jeweler, a pawn shop, coin dealer, and see what they would offer you. Most will offer you, and then they take it to that refinery. The refinery pays a few points less than full value. If it's $100 worth of gold, to use easy numbers, they're going to pay $97, $98 in that range for that piece of gold. Silver, they pay a little bit less. It costs them a little bit more to refine it. It takes more space, so it takes more logistics to sell it. So they pay about 90 cents on the dollar there. And they usually sell for like gold at about 104 to 105, 105% of value, and silver about 110% of value. So if it's a silver ounce, it's worth $17. They're going to charge about $18.50, maybe $19 for that. Excuse me. So the coin shop, the jeweler, what are they going to do? Well, they got to buy it and they're going to sell it to them. They got to take it across town or mail it across the country, depending upon where they're at. They're generally going to pay 30 to 50% less than they can sell it for. So if they have a piece that cream pitcher, it's worth they're going to get $60 from from the refinery. They're going to pay you somewhere in the $30 to $45 range. So you have a $65, $75 piece of silver. After they do the math and figure out what they're going to get for it, which is about $60, then they take it and they say we'll pay you $45 or $50 for it, because their time costs money too. Their outlay costs money too. And the thing about silver and gold is that some days it's very, very active. The trading can be very active. A few years ago, silver prices dropped 30% in just a couple of days. When Osama bin Laden was shot, it went from $60 an ounce down to $45 an ounce, or 50 to 35, literally overnight. From Friday to Monday, it dropped 30%. And so if you were a shop that bought something Friday afternoon and thought, I'll just bring it in on Monday, well, you lost 30%. And so there's a risk involved. Even though it's a pretty static market, there are days when there's big fluctuations, and it's never gone past that point. It's come back down. Like I said, it's at $17 and some change today. So what do you do when you have a piece, something like this? We have a beautiful Victorian bracelet. It's 14 karat. It's a Victorian watch slide bracelet. You can see it has a lot of cameos and stones in it. They're all 14 karat charms. But there's a lot of things there that aren't gold. So there's exactly 1 ounce there, like 1.01 troy ounces in that bracelet. If it were just gold, it'd be worth, it's 14 karat, so it'd be worth, it'd be worth an ounce of 14 karat gold, which today is in the range of $900. But it has all those stones in it. So how does that work out? What do you have to think about then? Well, a jeweler will pay you more for it, or pay you at least full scrap value for it, because there's some value to the stones. But if you take that to a coin shop, if you take that to a pawn shop, they're going to pay you on the metal value and destroy it, throw away all the stones and melt it anyway, because that's what they bought it for, is for the commodity of the gold. And that's the other thing. A lot of times when you take it to a coin dealer, to a scrap dealer, a pawn shop, even a jeweler, when they're buying estate pieces that are pretty simple and plain, that's what's going to happen to it. It's going to become an ingot. They're going to take it, have it refined, and then they will just turn that into cash today. And then the refinery will sell that as an investable asset to somebody else. They sell it as bullion. They buy it as scrap, and they buy it and sell it as bullion. They have to refine it. They get paid. They make a premium on that because of it. Same thing with this big set of flatware. And oftentimes it's the best course. A generic set of sterling flatware with a monogram on it has very little value to anybody except the people who had it originally. And oftentimes they need their money, or it's 3 generations removed and nobody has any recollection of those people, and they don't want to worry about the silver being in the house, and so it really is just worth the scrap value, the melt value. But oftentimes, flatware, jewelry, coffee services are bought by retail buyers, and if you're selling through a professional, whether it's an estate sale or an auction company like ours, we're going to charge you commission, but it's generally less than the markup or the mark down that a vendor will pay for you. And so it's oftentimes, if you have some time, you don't need the money today, it's better to have somebody sell it for you or sell it yourself. Figure out the value and put it out there, and then just a matter of, is your time worth the effort and the exposure and the logistics of selling it yourself or paying somebody else to do it. We would be happy to help anybody sell silver and gold. I'll talk to you about the best options. We oftentimes recommend to clients that scrapping it and selling it for melt value is the most, is the best option available because of, if it's damaged, if your jewelry is damaged, if you have one earring out of a set, things like that, it really is just worth the gold or silver sometimes. Old, wristwatches where the works are broken, it could cost you $500 to restore it. The watch itself was worth $350 and $300 of that's the gold. Well, it sounds harsh, but the reality is most things weren't made to last forever, and sometimes the gold is worth more than anything else in the asset, and you can do that. The other thing we can talk about real quick, and I've not done anything with this, although I know others have, gold-filled pieces actually have gold in them. Rolled gold, Victorian gold plated pieces they're lined with gold, and there's information online as to how to extract the gold from the gold plated pieces. Well, I've never done it. I know some people who do. If you're looking at a way to maybe, expand your income base, if you're buying and selling out there picking every day, that might be something to look into. I know basically you have to, subject it to extreme heat and the gold melts off of the base metal. And there's very little in most objects, but there still is gold in that gold-filled pocket watch or that gold-filled, pair of earrings or eyeglasses. And make sure you look at your old eyeglasses. The old wire ones, oftentimes they're gold and silver or coin silver. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, and we're getting up on the noon hour real fast. Coin silver is a really interesting thing. Back in the pre-1900, there's some smiths working after that point in this fashion, but basically 1860s and earlier, what you've heard of referred to as coin silver, people would actually bring silver coins to a silversmith in exchange for creating objects out of them. You see spoons a lot, coin silver spoons, because they were the smallest, easiest thing to make, and you would trade, let's say 3 coins to the silversmith. He would take 2 of those and create a spoon for you and keep the 3rd coin as the payment. And so it's obviously a very labor-intensive project. And so when you see bigger pieces of coin silver, it was really a pretty important thing at the time. You see coffee services and coffee pots that are presentation pieces. I mean, there was a lot of silver go into that to make those big pieces. And then, of course, somebody actually to handcraft it. But there's still silver value to it. I mean, there's still the intrinsic value. You can still take, a 200-year-old piece of coin silver has the value of the silver in it. And there are occasions when, a spoon is ripped in half and there's no value to it. You can't display it. There's nothing other than sentimental, if that, value. And so there's still value to that silver plate piece, as opposed to, say, pewter or coin silver, as opposed to silver plate or pewter or other metals, that there's no value in them in the intrinsic sense. So there's not the value of that. Silver plate doesn't have the same basis as gold or gold-plated pieces. There's no value to the silver, and when they create those things, they actually I believe they create them and melt them together, and so you can't extract the silver from the base metals. You can extract the copper and brass if that's what it's like, silver on copper. So there's actually value to the copper, but not to the silver. It's very, very nominal if possible. So those are kind of what I see. I see several people who joined us today. Thank you for that. And hopefully in a few days, we'll get the transcript on our website. If you have any questions about today's weekly question, last week's weekly question, or if you have a question you would like addressed, please drop us a message here. Give us a call at the office, 816-283-3633. Send us an email, which is all those contact information spots on our website, on our Facebook page. Ooh, somebody gave me a main face there. Yeah, I know somebody, maybe they're upset about the idea of scrapping something antique, which can be heartbreaking, but sometimes, in the financial responsibility, we have the fiduciary, it could be the best option. But thank you all for watching. Please share with your friends. If you have questions, please let us know. Enjoy your Friday afternoon. Go have a nice lunch. If you can break away early, do that. It's beautiful here in Kansas City today. Hopefully it is where you're at as well. And thank you all very much, and have a wonderful afternoon. And we'll see you soon.